So here I will try and explain, as you have seen, that a guy who was very aggressive was making around 3% a day. The same applies whether it's a bull or a bear day. So even if you take a look, and I'll demonstrate that for you in a minute. So for example, if you're looking at around 3% a day times 300 trading days, I'm just giving a rough estimate. You're talking about 900%, which is crazy, right? Because he's also taking a huge a risk also with 4 times of leverage. But what you are seeing in the performance tab on our website was a moderate configuration. The third case which you saw here was a very conservative one, but now what you are looking at, or what you would be looking at, is a moderate configuration. So when you're looking at a moderate configuration, if you look into the performance tab and come back to the returns which we generated for last 20 years, year over year and month over month, was a moderate configuration. So the point here is very important for my members to know that as you become aggressive, yes, you're taking big risk, but at the same time, you're also looking for 900%. But I don't think anybody should be that greedy. What you need to do is to be moderate. And when you are moderate, when you are saying that, okay, I will probably use 50% of the cash, what do you call, buying power, and probably I'll go an increment of 10% a day. When the markets are when it hits the buying power, I mean the cash utilization limit, it'll stop all your investment. So if you come back to the management account which I just picked up for you, for that account which I was showing you. Oh, this has expired. Let me log in again. Log back in. Just 1 second. Let me log in into the simulated platform and run the report for 17th, which was yesterday, which you saw. It was around 3%. So you'll get an idea. Here, the whole idea is to give you an idea. But when you use it yourself, because you can always get a trial period to try it out. But what I'm trying to tell you here are two things. One is the realized profits or trade logs. Let's look at trade logs for 17th. And you'll notice that there are a lot of trades which is settling within the same day. So the point I'm trying to make here is the cash is always available. So if you go back to the performance tab and try to relate it, from the detailed reports and logins, is what you will see here. Say for example, I'm going to let it open up. It's again slow, you have to bear with me. But what I'm trying to make a point here, it's precision. That's exactly what precision is all about, which we don't do on traditional techniques. So if I'm opening up December last month, where the market was negative 10%, but we did around 13% here, as you can see. So now let's take a look at the report here, which will relate back to what I just said. So if you take a look at the market was negative, no doubt. But when you come back here and you start looking at it, did you see average bar held is 2.14? So the point which I'm trying to make here, of course, our win ratio is 80%. Loss ratio is 19%, so it's 4 is to 1, which is phenomenal. That gives us the Sharpe ratio of 3.52. And if you notice, the system drawdown is minus 2.37. So this relates back to the trade log here, which you are seeing that there are a lot of trades which is getting settled within the same day. So this explains the average which we are talking about here per settlement is around 2.14 days. So now mathematically, if I'm rotating in a 20 trading day, if I'm rotating my funds on an average of 2, that means I'm rotating my funds 10 times in a month. That brings the velocity. So the turnover in this technique is very high, number one. Number two, the profit you make every day, because of the high turnover, you don't need to wait for cash. You already have the cash available for the next day. It is, oh man, it is recommended that why is it kicking me out? Just a second. Uh, it is recommended that you basically uh, you take out the cash. So the point here is the cash you made for the 17th as an example. Just a second, let me see. Uh, the report gets generated. So you have basically realized a profit after commission. If you take a look at the realized column for the 17th, from that first account which I was talking about, you had made around 58,000, which was more than around 3% for that day. The point here I'm making is you don't need to compound it because we are generating enough cash, as you have seen on the trade logs, that which is settling. So almost like 50% of the cash is again rotating back for you. So the strategy is to milk out profit every day if your portfolio is big, because you don't need to worry about cash, as you have seen that there's a lot of cash which is getting released. Wherever you're seeing two lines means it has settled. So you will see more than 50-60% of the trades which got settled, and only a handful of them which is not settled, which is getting ready for the next day's float, which happened today, which was the 18th. So on 18th, which you have seen, we also made profits around 3%, which included some of the open positions from previous day. So there is always cash circulating. So in this technique, the breakouts are so important in our research, where we find that how many are going to make a success story. That's number one, which you have seen on our report, which is here. I think it is here, which made the success stories, right? So you are looking at the success story here. 80% is our success story. So when you are looking into that high success stories with such high circulation, there is no way you need to compound that return. So in traditional technique, we don't do that because we are not using artificial intelligence at all. Here, there is a lot of machine driven precisions which is going behind to identify these breakouts, which I told you. Okay, so it's all machine driven. There's a lot of stuff which is going behind it to tell you where the breakouts are coming and which one is going to settle within the same day, which you are seeing in the trade log anyway. You have seen it here on the trade log that how many of them are settling every day. So it's a technique which is not traditional. It is completely different approach from what traditional techniques do. And therefore, now it explains that if you're making around 2 to 3%, even if you're a little moderate, why we compound our interest to around 267% for that year. So this is no brainer at this point of time, that if you are making around 2 to 3% every day, how is it possible that we make 267%? Now, what I want you to do is you can pick up any bear day from the trade log. Say I'm looking into this month, or any month or any day. I'm just giving an example. You can select the day range, and you can find out that okay, which was the bear day, and then you start looking into the settlements which happened during that bear day. If you start looking at the settlements which happened, say 8/6 was a bear day. I'm just giving an example, and you start looking into that the returns which it generated during that day for you. So whether it is a bull day or a bear day, you will notice in last 20 years there's not many days where this algorithm did not make money for us. The only instance which happened was on the case study which we made for a one single day during that worst scenario of Dow Jones. 20 years history was taken, and only a handful of days, not the month, only handful of that day we made some losses, and the drawdown for that day was slightly high. But the point is here, there are a lot of brokerage firms and a lot of advisors during that day lost around 30 to 40% of their portfolio within few hours. So it is very important to understand the power of artificial intelligence. Okay, so I hope I have tried to explain this, but I will also welcome every prospects who are interested into this research and try this product into their own platform using interactive broker, because you'll get a month anyway to look all the bull and bear days how it is doing, and you can compare it with yourself. So once you compare it with yourself and the market, as you have seen, that market is no issue for us, it's not, it's a piece of cake. But when you compare with yourself, your own performance, and you notice that we are doing every day, we are beating your performance, I don't have to tell you what to do next, because return and risk management is so important in our strategy with artificial intelligence, where we have got to perfection. It took us a long time, almost 6 years, to optimize the technique, but today we are perfect. You pick up any day, real time, or from our performance tab, or from your, you can try out, as I said, for a month. You'll notice every day you'll make money. There is rarely the percentage could differ because of the market's volatility. The intelligence is working to also look into the volatility of the market, but there is hardly a scenario where you would see that you are making losses. And this is a reflection, identical reflection of what you are seeing here on the trade logs, which I have just shown. So having said that, having said that, I welcome every prospects to take a look at it. You can schedule a meeting with me during a trading hour if you want to. Of course, recording is a problem. As you know, there's so many applications which works together, and video, doing a video is also is a big issue because it chokes up a lot of RAM. But what you can do is you can always come back to requesting for a demo date at your convenience, and you will see it running live anyway. But at the same time, you can go back and do your due diligence, and at the same time you can ask for a month's trial if you have interactive broker, or just open an account with interactive broker and get a real-time market data and start the simulation. We will install the software for you. It's a pain to install the software with so many files and all, but we will do it for you. But I only welcome serious investors, members, to be in this club, because this is a genuine research. We are showing live data, live numbers. Not too many farms, in my knowledge, can do this type of a detailed demonstration. We are doing this for last 20 years. Any day, any time frame you choose, it will come back and tie up with your with the trade logs of real-time trading which you are seeing here. So I again encourage everybody to get in touch with me, because return is so important for an investor. When we interview the investors, they are desperate. They're desperate to make money. but to my knowledge, when I spoke to them, they never had a good experience. So my whole research was focused to see how I can generate returns using artificial intelligence, where there is no emotion, no humans, everything is automated, and the results are outstanding. So you can go back to my website here, and if you want, you can type in what do you call it? Was called proposal. Hold on, yeah, proposal, and you can take a look. You can take a look at how what are the different types of products which I'm talking about, how these numbers get generated, which I have demonstrated anyway. These are the Sharpe ratios and drawdowns for every year. You'll see it when you use it yourself anyway. Our promotions for to encourage artificial intelligence. This is the type of an average we are doing. So as you have noticed that we did around 3% in each day from 17th and 18th. So this is not going to be a surprise to you anymore. Uh, then how to open up interactive brokers account, and most importantly, you can schedule a meeting with me to see if you want to look at live demos. But in addition, you will also get a free trial period to run it on your own machine and compare your performance with artificial intelligence. That's the key, because I'm proving it to you anyway that beating S&P is a piece of cake for us. But whether I'm beating your performance and whether this is going to be a good value proposal for you is what you have to make a decision with. So please feel free to do that. And as you can say that based on the speed and the velocity with all the breakouts, our estimate is that even if we use 20% of your discretionary funds, we guess, we are not sure yet, we guess that we would be able to beat the performance of 80% return you might generate from traditional technique. So the point here is getting into artificial intelligence is not only going to get you returns, but also give you a scalability as you have seen.